Welcome to Transform Now, a podcast focused on intelligent automation and brought to you by SS&C Blue Prism. On this program, we talk about how organizations globally are rethinking the way they operate, utilizing process orchestration and AI-enabled digital workers to free up humans to do the work that matters most. We also share insights and tips on how you can embrace this new way of working and unleash your full potential. Let's get into the show.
Hello, everyone. I'm Brad Hairston with SS&C Blue Prism. Welcome to the Transform Now podcast. Today, we're going to shine the spotlight on ourselves, if you will, to share an incredible automation success story. It's the story of an internal automation program that within a year deployed over 1,000 digital workers to automate over 800 processes across multiple lines of business. I'm so glad to have two of my colleagues, Kathy Murphy and Alec Sutherland, on the podcast today to share the details of this case study. Kathy and Alec, welcome. Why don't you tell everyone about yourselves and about your roles at SS&C? Kathy, why don't you go first?
Thanks for having me. As Brad said, my name is Kathy Murphy. I am a product owner on the retirement solution side. And basically what that means is for all of the different products and services that we offer for our retirement clients. So a lot of this is back office work, payroll processing, distribution processing, enrollments, exchanges, all of the things that really support retirement plans. We offer those services for a lot of our clients. So what I am charged with is really taking Blue Prism, which is this product, and seeing where we can integrate that into our current processes to improve SLAs, improve quality, and really take away those mundane, repetitive tasks that really just grate on the nerves of a lot of the processing teams that we service. So what our role is doing is really identifying those opportunities and see where we can implement functionality to make their lives a little bit easier.
Excellent. Thank you. Alec, how about you?
Yeah, sure. So I've been working on RPA with Blue Prism since about 2013. I've worn a number of hats in that time. So been a consultant at a BPO, been an engineer at a startup. I helped EY set up their advisory RPA offer. And I've also been a customer of Blue Prism as well. And now my time at SS&C is rolling out Blue Prism internally across the organization. My focus really has always been on innovation, but also delivering that outcome. So whether that's projects, programs of work streams, whatever it might be. And so this last year in 2023 was extremely exciting. As you say, the stats on that are remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. As you were giving your introduction there, it occurred to me that you have a pretty interesting combination of experiences that probably prepared you really well for this type of initiative. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I had to wear a number of different hats, working internally with the kind of Blue Prism team, and then working with owners like Kathy in the business. It's lots of different skills you have to bring to the table. And some of those technical ones are into dust off as well. So all of those ones are coming through.
Right. Well, it's always interesting to hear when a large software firm applies its own platform, takes its own medicine, so to speak. I don't think I've heard of a situation like this one with such scale and speed. So I'm really eager to hear the details. Alec, let's start with you. Can you talk about, from your perspective, what's unique about this automation story?
I think that there's quite a few bits that are unique, Brad. As you say, it's unique from the start. We're leveraging our own technology to transform our operations and transform our clients' experiences. As you say, we successfully deployed 1,000 active Blue Prism digital workers in 12 months. For me, that's a kind of watershed moment for the industry. There's no precedence for this at the moment. And then also a lot around the leadership, which we'll come on to, and how they supported us. Again, that to me is quite unique. We talk about it to our customers, but actually seeing it in reality is something quite different.
And how did it all begin? Can you talk about the origins of this program and the sponsorship angle? That's always something that really makes a huge difference when it relates to intelligent automation. Who's behind it? Who's sponsoring it? So give us that context, if you will.
Yeah, our executives have played a real kind of critical role on this, Brad, right from the start. Obviously, the acquisition in 2022. But yeah, for me, there's two main things here. So one, Bill Stone, our chief exec, set the vision. So he has a vision for essentially a new strategic workforce capability. And that was set right from the start. And he's got goals around how many digital workers he wants to see working across SS&C. But we kind of coupled that with more kind of pragmatic targets from our COO. So our operational efficiency targets for 2023 and 2024. And then really when those two things meet is where we're having the success. So the leadership have got behind us. They support us, encouraging us and celebrating our work. It's, again, that's something unique. I haven't seen that before, really. Not for 12 months. And now we're going into year 2, expecting exactly the same.
That makes such a difference for sure. Well, Kathy, when did you first hear about this program and what were your initial thoughts when you heard about it?
So we heard about it at the end of 2022, going into 2023. And we had our goal of achieving efficiency. So when we were talking about Blue Prism, it was really twofold for us. It was understanding what the ask was and socializing that with the business. That was key. And then making sure we had that accountability. So understanding what the technology could do, where we could implement it, and where could it be used as a complementary piece. So for us, it was really kind of understanding how our goals and our objectives were going to tie into the more strategic goals at the corporate level. So for us, having that plan in place and communicating that out to the business was critical for us.
And had your team ever tried any type of large-scale automation project in the past?
So within Retirement Solutions, we have a tremendous amount of functionality that we've built out over the years, right? We have a lot of self-service. We have a lot of ways that our plan sponsors and our participants can submit items to us where it's on our side hands-free. So if they want to take a distribution, they can submit those requests through the web. If they want to enroll in their retirement plan, we have all of these options available to them. But it's not one size fits all. So a lot of our clients, while they take advantage of that, and that's great, we have some clients that don't. So for us, we need to meet our clients where they are, and at the same time, provide that same level of high quality service where we're meeting our turnaround time and we're just making it easier to do business with us. So what Blue Prism did for us was it really closed that gap, because what that allows us to do is build out these processes on the front end where you would normally have a lot of human touch. It allows us to automate some of those processes so we can take advantage of a lot of the functionality that we've previously built out. And the beauty of that is that we're not reinventing the wheel. So it's allowing us to get this information into our record keeping platforms, but then we're using all of the audits, all of the controls, all of the checks and balances that we've already built out. It's just really taking that pressure off the front end by allowing us to automate some of the ways that information actually gets prepped in order to get into the record keeping system.
Okay. And how did your team go about reskilling as a part of this program? Can you shed some light on that?
Yeah. So there was a couple of different things we did. So first of all, we identified resources within the business because you really want to build this from the ground up. And we looked for skill sets that were similar. So when we've done projects in the past, you have your business analysts, you've got your subject matter experts. Obviously, with the Blue Prism component of it and some of the configuration and code that was needed for that, we relied heavily on Alec to help us, identify those resources. But in terms of the business, we were able to leverage a lot of those existing skill sets around understanding what business processes were, taking a look at it with an eye toward improvement, and then using our business analysts to be able to clearly document what that end state would look like, and then working with our Blue Prism developers to really bring that to fruition for us.
Alec, let's talk about the delivery side, the implementation team. What did that team look like?
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one. So a relatively lean team, Brad, and all experts in Blue Prism. And that experience is either deploying Blue Prism at scale as customers, or having that kind of deep technical product or platform knowledge. And what that really means is that we can have those conversations with the business at all levels, whether that's starting out, enabling them in Blue Prism, building their capability, helping them to scale, or later driving kind of wider adoption. But it just means that in any conversation, we can field the questions, provide advice, and guidance. And that's one of the critical factors in our success last year.
And Alex, I understand that in many of the teams within SS&C that you came into to do this internal automation, they were already using another platform, specifically UiPath, and you had to move all of the automations on that platform over to Blue Prism. Talk about how that happened and the implications of it.
Yeah, as part of that, Brad, we did have a legacy RPA tool, UiPath, that we needed to migrate off of. It's obviously a few different potential approaches to that. By and large, the one that we found worked well was starting with those business processes running on UiPath, mainly because it fielded quite a good testing ground for the teams to develop their ability in Blue Prism. And so migrating from that old tool to Blue Prism formed part of their training. Also, it's quite interesting in terms of the feedback we got. So as part of that migration work, we got some valuable feedback on Blue Prism and how it performed against this other tool. And we saw great feedback in terms of performance of Blue Prism, the security, the scalability. I think there was generally very good feedback overall about the move. So yeah, interesting time. Again, another kind of unique experience with this. But again, it was part of our overall success.
And I'm sure there's things we take away from that that can help our customers as well if they're looking to migrate from a legacy platform to Blue Prism.
When we have those conversations, we'll be a little bit wiser as to how customers can do it. We appreciate there's not necessarily one size fits all on that either. A few of the different divisions took a slightly different approach, but overall, all of them were successful. And so, as you say, Brad, we can share that with our customers.
Sure. Alec, talk about the operating model that was used to deploy so many digital workers across so many different lines of business in such a short period of time.
Yeah, that's quite a job really there, Brad. Typically, we might suggest a kind of centralized COE to customers. Given this particular unique situation we walked into, we knew that wouldn't really work. We knew also that kind of planning this again from the start, trying to set out a kind of 12-month plan. Again, that deployment would fail. It just had too many moving parts. So we decided on two different approaches with this. We decided on an enablement approach with a strategy to empower each of the divisions within SS&C. So that could be from anything from setting up the infrastructure, doing the training, scaling, using our robotic operating model. That meant that each division had its own team, could organize themselves to meet their own efficiency targets. That autonomy was crucial to our success.
Interesting. Kathy, what would you say were the most critical success factors for this effort from your perspective?
Mine, it's ownership and accountability. So as Alex said, they really push that down to the different business areas, which when you think about it, giving the business the ownership and the accountability to be able to prioritize the work that they need to do when they need to get it done, and being able to completely control that narrative and then be accountable for the outcomes on the end was so key to our success in this endeavor. I think to Alex's point, if we had put this in kind of a centralized place, now you've got this huge body of work and you're prioritizing it, and how it's prioritized may not necessarily align with your individual business. So for us, having the ability to identify those opportunities where we wanted to implement this type of functionality and being able to control it, being able to prioritize it, being able to work collaboratively to be able to achieve those end results, that to us was so huge and so significant because we were working on our timelines for our clients with what we needed to do to move our business forward. So being self-sufficient, if you will, and being able to own those things was huge to our success.
That's great. Alec, from your perspective, any thoughts on critical success factors as well?
Yeah, I think for me, it was that top down and kind of bottom up. You've got the leadership giving us the support and the targets. But as Kathy's kind of pointed out, we've got the autonomy of each of the divisions been able to organize themselves. We're not sticking to maybe one particular kind of operating model, forcing that. We weren't stuck to a kind of 12-month rollout plan. We could be agile and fluid to meet the demands of the business. And overall, that really meant that we could rapidly scale across the organization. We could pivot wherever we needed to. And so really there weren't too many blockers. And that really meant that we could hit those numbers.
Alec, tell me about the quantification of benefits for this internal automation program.
Brad, that's a great question. Let me tell you more about 2023 and how successful that was for our internal digital workforce. We had a major win by migrating from a competitor's RPA tool. And this also highlighted the limitations of UiPath as a product. From the migration, we gained some valuable insights that we shared across Blue Prism. It highlighted the strengths of Blue Prism over our competition and showed us those kind of key areas that we know Blue Prism is strong in: performance, security, and scalability. Speaking of scalability, we hit our 2023 goals around 2,000 full-time equivalents in digital worker productivity. And we're estimating that will save us about $100 million annually, which is fantastic. So overall, SS&C is really embracing digital labor. We'll keep pushing, obviously, for greater benefits from digital workers and combine that with other automation strategies.
Beautiful. And Alec, I know those financial benefits that you referenced were talked about by our COO on our earnings call just about a week ago. That's great. Kathy, how has this program impacted your retirement solutions team? What changes have you seen come about?
There's been a couple. First of all, as I had mentioned previously, we had all this functionality that we had built out over the years that we really weren't able to take full advantage of. So what this Blue Prism process does for us is it really bridges that gap, and it allows us to put some automation on the front end for those high volume, highly repetitive processes. And it allows us to get those pieces where they need to be so that the rest of the process can pick it up. The other thing it's done is it's really increased the ownership within the business. So normally when you roll out something like this, change is challenge, right? People don't understand it. They're not really sure what's going on with it. But the more we socialize it and the more the business started to see the benefits of it, and the more they could see where the opportunities were and what the benefits of that were, the scalability, for example. So we have different types of volumes, and depending on the time of year, you're either going to pull resources off to be able to handle that volume, which means then you're working overtime and you're doing all of these different things to try to support the business. With these digital workers, what you're able to do is you're able to scale them up and down based on the business need. So instead of having to pull resources and drain those resources, you can scale up these digital workers as your volumes are needed. So that to us is a game changer, because you're not worrying about who's doing what. It's like, we need to implement 15 today and maybe tomorrow we might only need 5. But that flexibility allows you to not only meet your service levels, but it really takes the burden off of your people. And it really just keeps things where they need to be. So you're not overworking your human workers. You're able to scale up your digital workers. You're still maintaining your service levels. You're still maintaining the quality. And you're still leveraging all of the checks and balances and audit controls that you already have in your record keeping systems and your surrounding applications. So for us, this was a huge benefit when it comes to those types of volumes that we see on a daily basis.
That's great. And would you say your team has more of a automation mindset now, just in terms of looking at processes within your team and future opportunities for automation?
Absolutely. And I think out of the gate, so as you work through your first automation, people really weren't sure what to expect. But once you see it, so it's not just about automating the process. And with every process, you don't get the full benefit. I think that's important for folks to know. So everything is iterative. But even if you roll out a process and you get 40 or 50% of the benefit, well, then there's tools and reporting that you can use to be able to figure out where those gaps are, where that trend analysis is. And then you can go back and you can tweak those processes, or you can work with your clients to maybe correct behavior so that the information that's coming in can be implemented or put into these automated processes. So once we put those first few processes out for the business and they saw the benefit of that, and you could see, the ease of the burden on them with some of the volumes that we see, people really quickly started thinking about, well, if you can use Blue Prism for this, what about this type of a process? What about this type of a process? So it's that type of experience and building that credibility, if you will, through these processes really has helped us sell our pipeline, if you will, in terms of the ideas that the business is looking for and the different ways that we can use this automation to be able to just make people's lives a little bit easier.
No, that's fantastic. Alec, let's talk about how this program has created opportunities for our customers as well.
Yeah, I see it as we've got a number of different customers here, Brad, as well. So we've got internal customers like Kathy, existing customers. We've got new internal customers we haven't yet worked with. And then we've got our Blue Prism customers, new and existing. So what we've done internally is provide a kind of great amount of content that we can share, whether that's use cases internally around the business to show other divisions how SS&C is using Blue Prism and Chorus and our wider product portfolio, or to external customers. Great selling point is that we use this stuff internally and it's everywhere. It's across our organization. Another interesting area is around the kind of new technologies that we're utilizing as well, Brad. So we're doing pilots, we're doing experimentations with large language models. Some of these are showing huge promise, but ultimately the kind of bread and butter here is that our internal deployment is transforming our own operations for our clients. We've got some great use cases on improving processing times, the accuracy, and what we speak to Kathy about is it gives Kathy then the bandwidth to improve and transform retirement solutions digitally, which might not have been an option before. They now have that capacity within the team to go after those areas. So huge amount of value for our customers. And obviously we're looking to share that this year.
You mentioned a few things there that would imply that there's quite a bit more automation to do internally as well. So this is not a 1 year, one and done kind of thing. This is going to be an ongoing effort to continue to automate and leverage AI within our own business.
5-year vision here, Brad. We're in year 2 now. So really we're just getting started on this. And as you say, the kind of first year was incredible. And we're looking to build on that in 2024.
Yeah. Well, our CEO said when he bought Blue Prism that SS&C was going to be the largest customer of Blue Prism. I think that's coming to fruition. It sure sounds like it. Well, I'd like both of you here as we wrap up, just to weigh in on what's the most important point of this story that you want people to understand. Kathy, let me let you take that first, if you would.
I think it's a couple of things. So I think from a business standpoint, when I'll speak for Retirement Solutions, one of the things that this functionality has allowed us to do, as I said earlier, was take advantage of existing automation that we had through APIs, services, and all of that. But it's also opening us up to be able to take advantage of other types of functionality, such as document automation, where by using Blue Prism functionality coupled with our APIs, we're able to take in forms, create templates of them, and then extract that information and be able to systematically process items in a record-keeping system, again, using all of the current controls and risk mitigation and edits that we currently have. So for us, we've barely scratched the surface with this, but even in the small amount of time that we've been exposed to it, we've seen huge results, higher quality, higher turnaround time, less stress on the business with people having to work overtime when volumes scale up and whatnot. But I think the most important piece is that it's iterative. So, with anything, take baby steps, identify small opportunities where you think you can benefit from automation and then build from that. Rome wasn't built in a day. All of this stuff is iterative. And even the things that you build out over time, things could change. A lot of these processes that we're building out assist us with getting things in, as I said before, the record keeping system. Well, as the record keeping system changes, or as we build out new functionality within the record keeping system, your digital workers have to be able to change with that as well. So start small, build things as you go. It doesn't have to be perfect out of the gate. But what's also great about Blue Prism is that you can leverage a lot of the information or a lot of the code that you build out. So for example, if you're building out a process for handling payrolls, well, if you're building out a process for a lot of these clients and a lot of these participants, you've built code into that. Well, when you go to your next process to iterate it, you can leverage a lot of that code take the pieces that you've built previously so that you're not starting from scratch every single time you're building out a process. When you do your first automation, it might take you a little bit of time. Let's say it's 4 to 6 weeks. While when you do your second one, maybe it's only 3 to 5 weeks. So it's scalable. It's been a huge game changer for us. And like I said, we haven't even scratched the surface. We're very excited about it, but I would say start small and scale up from there.
Those are great takeaways, Kathy. Thank you. Alec, what about you?
For me, it's working with Blue Prism customers over the years, Brad. It's the rapid scaling for me. Obviously, delivering the value back to the business, but that scale is possible with Blue Prism. And that could be if you're a new or an existing customer. Really, there's some kind of simple kind of principles that we've looked at today. There's no real major things going on here in terms of why we achieved what we did last year. We got great leadership, provided the vision and the support, provided the targets, and ensured that accountability. But again, that will be within most organizations. We've got that divisional approach, but it's fluid. Each division can set up how they want to set up to meet their own targets. And then we have a small team of experts that can help with that enablement and adoption and lean in certain places to maybe do some delivery or set up the infrastructure, but really a team there to support the divisions. And then lastly, we had just transparent reporting, very open reporting going up, very transparent, tracking the progress. And again, no major KPIs in there, very simple, keeping the work going, focusing on delivering the value. And that was our key to 2023. And I'm sure that'll be the key to success in 2024.
Well, there are so many incredible things that we can take away from this effort. Both of you have articulated those very well. Kathy, Alec, thank you so much for being on the podcast today and talking about this great internal automation success story, what it's meant to our company, what it means to our customers. The implications are tremendous. I'm definitely excited about it. I'm so glad we got to shine a light on it on the podcast today. So thanks for being here. I wish you both the very best.
Thank you for listening to Transform Now, the podcast from SS&C Blue Prism. You can find all of our episodes on your favorite podcast channel, as well as YouTube. To stay on top of the hottest topics in the world of intelligent automation, subscribe now. The future of work is here.